What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode number 16 of my series where I attempt to fill as many collection log spots as possible on my maxed Ultimate Ironman. So in the last one, I did a total of 5,000 Herbie. I gained 12 million Hunter XP from that. Also, of course, from that grind, I ended up getting a lot of Numalite, which I used to finish the Fossil Island Notes log. From the herbivore itself, though, I have a ton of herbs that I need to go and make into potions now. I have all of the secondaries for these except for the anti-fires and the prayer potions. So I'm just going to go through all of the ones that I have the secondaries for first. Even on an Ultimate Ironman, it's really easy if you have all of the unfinished potions and the noted secondaries, so that's why it's nice to get them as drops. I can just sit at the bank here and note everything and then decant them when I have the potion made. Alright, it took about an hour for me to make all of the ranging potions. I'm going to keep them as 1 doses per usual like all my other potions, but if I were to put them into 4 doses, it would be 971 ranged potions, which is going to be more than enough for me to do RDO. Every time I finish making a potion, I'm just going to put it in my looting bag. That way I just have 1 inventory space taken up, and I don't have to re-death bank every single time I want to make a new potion. For the most part, I'm probably not going to do too many updates with these. I'm just going to go through all of the potions that I have the secondaries for. Then I'll see you guys back whenever I finish those. It took me an hour to do the range potion, so it'd probably be like, I don't know, it'd probably take me like a half a day to finish all of them. A bit over 300k more herb XP gained so far, and I'm currently working on my super attack potions, and that is also level 100 herb lore. Okay, 843k herb XP gained so far, and I only have the Lantidimes, the Renars, and the super combats left to make now. I'm going to be saving these for last since I have to go through my bag and take all of the potions out again, so the next thing I'm going to be doing is collecting the Snape Grass for the Renars. Alright, at this point, I just have the Super Combats and Anti-Fire Potions left to make, which are by far the 2 most annoying ones. So for the Anti-Fires, I need to run in circles, basically just collecting these Blue Dragon Scales. I also decided to do this at Taverley Dungeon. I did go and test the ones in the Myths Guild, and surprisingly, the time to get my full inventory here and there are actually identical, but once I get a full inventory, I'm going to head over to the Grand Exchange, and then I'm going to grind them all down. Once that's done, I'll be dropping half of my inventory, and this is going to make room for me to unnote my unfinished potions. Then I'll make all of those, decant them into 1 doses, and then I'll pick all of the secondaries back up that I dropped, and finish making all of the potions. So doing this method, I'll be able to make 22 total anti-fires per trip, a 15 million total herb XP. At this point, I only have about like a half an hour or so left to go until I'm finished making all of these. Okay, with the anti-fires done, I now have to move into by far the most annoying potion to make on an ultimate, which is going to be the super combats. So there's a few ways you can go about doing this. A lot of people like to use like sacks of cabbages and onions, and that'll allow you to create placeholders in your inventory. Personally, I prefer doing it this way, which relies on using unnoting vials as placeholders instead of the cabbages and whatnot. So I'll fill my inventory with vials, and then I'll be dropping them 5 at a time. And as you see on screen, what this will allow me to do is to unnote each of the potions and the torstals that I need in order to make these super combats. Of course, that means I'll be making 5 of them at a time, and once those are made, I'll head over to the decanter, and that'll turn them into 3 doses, and then back into 4 doses. As you guys can tell, though, it is incredibly tedious. I think with full focus here, I could do about 400 per hour, but realistically, it's probably going to be like 300 or something. Alright, it took me quite a while, but here's all of the potions made now. I gained a total of 1.7 million herb XP if you count the amount I got from cleaning the herbs across that whole herb grind. I have about 1,100 super combats now, and also around 1,000 ranging potions as well. So if you guys remember from the last video, I got myself to 693 Spindle KC. I'm not going to be going back to this. I'm actually going to be going and killing some Scorpia. My friend linked me one of the dev blogs from about a month ago, and apparently they want to make Scorpia like 2 million GP per hour. And if that happens, especially since it's in multi, it's going to be very annoying trying to do it, and I'll probably end up dying a lot more than if I just went for it now. So I want to try to get this pet out of the way as soon as possible. So I went and wrote down a bunch of stuff for this. I haven't gone and tried it yet. More than likely, this is going to be the gear setup I'm going with. Just kind of like a split between magic bonus and prayer bonus. For the most part, I want to bring stuff that's really easy to get back since this is in multi, and it's probably going to be pretty easy to die here since you can't really scout, I guess, for the most part. So normally what a lot of people will do is they'll save their like extra tridents from doing Slayer, and they'll end up risking them here. But there's also a lot of stories of people who saved up a trident and ended up dying like 3 kills into Scorpia, so it ended up being pointless. I'm just going to be doing Ice Barrage only the entire time. I have a ton of runes, and the kills per hour will still be pretty decent. When it comes to my whole inventory setup, I'm not 100% sure on what I'm going to be doing yet. Start off though, I'm going to be bringing 2 sand fuse and 6 prayer potions. Like I said, I don't know if I'm going to need more or less of these, so I'll be figuring that out as I go. I'm going to be doing like 2 hours of this, just to get an idea 100% of what I'm doing. Then I'll be back to show you guys the whole process and what I end up doing with my inventory. I also completely forgot to turn my unpowered symbol into an unholy symbol, which some of you guys probably caught. So my prayer bonus is up to 25. So per usual, there's a few combat tasks that I'm going to be completing here. Scorpia itself has 4 total. I finished the first one when I was here for my diary kill, and this one on the screen is the second one, which is for killing Scorpia without taking any damage. The other 2 are really easy. It's just for getting 10 kills, and then another one for getting 25 kills. No way, dude. Well, there's the Odium Shard 3 already on 13 KC. It's one of the 3 drops I need. Alright, well, that's the last task for 25 kills. As mentioned earlier, that's going to be another 4 points added to the combat tasks total. No way. What? That's both the shards at 28 KC. What, man? So yeah, as you guys saw, I got both the shards already. I'm at 31 KC now. The pet is a 1 in 2,000 drop rate. So literally the only thing I have left now from this log is the pet. What? Odium shard number 2 at 49 KC? So with another Wildy boss comes yet another explanation of how I need to manage my loot on this account. So first off here, once my trip is done, I'm going to be teleporting back to Prif, and then I'm going to head over to my loot pile. From here, I'm going to be picking up the locator orb and then all of my blood and death runes. Once I have those, I'm going to teleport back to my house and then use my jewelry box to head over to the Ferox Enclave. So I can right click the looting bag here and then go into the deposit feature. And now you'll see I can actually right click on my runes and there's an option for me to store X. So I'll just be doing the math each trip to figure this out, but I'm going to be splitting these so that I have the amount of runes I'll be taking each trip. I've been going with 1,500 bloods and 3,000 deaths, and that seems to be about the right amount that I end up using every 45 minutes. So once I have these runes split up, I'm going to head back over to my loot piles once more, and just like at the other bosses, what I'm going to be doing is dying on a separate tile, and that's going to be splitting my wilderness gear away from my main loot piles. It's going to make it a lot easier to pick all my stuff back up when I go into the wilderness, so it's not like all mixed up with my other loot. The only difference here is that this time before I hit 0 HP, what I'm going to do is drop my runes on a separate square. And the reason I do this is because if I keep them on me, once I die, they're just going to combine with the runes that I had split into my bag, and it would make everything I did pointless. Then I'm going to run back over and pick up the runes that I dropped, and I'll be dying with them again. This is just so they stay on the floor for a longer period of time. If I didn't do this and I just left the runes there while I reset my other loot piles, somebody would definitely run by and grab them. Then finally, I'll pick my main stack of runes back up and go back to the crafting guild to get the amount of potions that I'll need for my next trip. And then I can just go ahead and reset my main loot piles, pick up my Wildy gear again, and head back to Scorpia. So per usual, these, they can be very confusing to follow, so I do try my best every time to make it as concise as possible so you guys can follow along with it. This is a good time as well to show you all the gear and the inventory setup that I'm using really fast. The Wilderness Sword is just for cutting the webs to get up here, and then I have a lockpick and coins for different escape methods I can use up here. Okay, since I'm going through everything, I might as well just show you guys a kill too. The boss itself is very easy. You just freeze it so it can't hit you since you need to pray range from the minions, and the boss itself attacks with melee. But once you get it to around half HP, it spawns healers, and what you need to do with these is freeze them to keep them away from the boss. If they're away from the boss for a certain amount of time, they'll just despawn, and then from there you can just finish the kill. Also, another nice thing about this boss is it has a really fast respawn timer, so there's not really much downtime standing around between each kill. Wow. 2 of each shard now on 75 KC. 100 KC, so up to this point I have been keeping track of my kills per hour, and so far I'm getting 28, which is actually almost the same as Calvarion. I was expecting it to be a lot lower, like 20 or something, especially since I'm just using Barrage here and I'm not using a Trident. I feel like I can definitely get this over 30 kills once I get these timings down with freezing the healers more. And there is yet another Malediction Shard. Okay, so I know a lot of you guys are going to be curious about this. On the topic of pkers, this is the first one that I ran into, and thankfully I was able to escape. It was very close though. He hit me to 3 HP at one point. So when it comes to Scorpia, you basically want to pray that it's just one PKer and not multiple, or it's very hard to get away since it is multi-combat. If it is just one though, as you see on screen, what I try to do is just freeze them and then I'll stand underneath them and log out. I will be sure to show you guys more clips though of different scenarios across this grind as I run into them. Another kill update up to 200 now, so a few things here. I went and got a Farseer helm and also some Mystic boots to see if I could notice any difference at all. And honestly, I'm not going to bother with them because I really didn't notice any difference at all. I also ended up dying a few kills ago and losing them anyway to a guy with basically max gear. Thankfully though, getting everything back is pretty fast. The only annoying thing about dying is the amount of runes that I lose. And another Odium shard on 208. A 15 million total magic XP. I've gained almost 500k already from this so far as well. So here's just the usual every 100 kill update. That is 300 now, but also this time I managed to get a unique drop on this as well, so there is another Odium shard. Alright, it's that time once again for a unique escape scenario here. Initially I thought this was only going to be one PKer, so I just went with the usual, trying to freeze them and stand under them to log out, but as you'll see to the south of me here, another PKer ended up logging in, so this was the first time on the grind that I had to try to deal with multiple. So I ended up making my way over to the resource area, hoping either they couldn't enter it or that I'd be able to run to the back of it and just log out before they could enter in time. And that's exactly what ended up happening. I froze one of them outside, opened the gate, and just ran to the very back of the resource area and logged out. So this was also only a few minutes before my trip was ending as well, so I didn't have too many runes in my inventory. So even if I ended up dying here, I really wouldn't have lost much. And there is another Odium shard on 390 KC, 400 total KC, and 500 KC. I am now 1/4 the pet drop rate. All right, up to 600. I mentioned that I was getting 28 kills per hour here when I was at 100 kills, but after practicing when to freeze the healers, and I came up with like a little rotation that I try to use here. It seems to work out really well. I was able to get my kills from 28 per hour all the way up to about 35, so a pretty massive difference. Getting 35 per hour with just barrage is something I never expected I'd be able to get. Okay, I have no idea what this guy was doing. I was basically just sitting on the cave entrance and spamming in and out trying to catch a freeze on him, but I splashed like 8 times or something, and then for some reason he decided to run up on top of the hill and attack me from up there. Maybe he was trying to go and kill my scout because he was getting annoyed or something, but either way, him running up top made it really easy for me to get away. Well, it's been quite a while since a unique that is a malediction on 698. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, get me out. Oh my gosh. No way, dude. I spooned at 710 KC. Oh my gosh. Alright, I had to make sure I went and picked up all of my loot piles before I showed you guys this part, since I probably would have forgotten about him. 710 KC. There is the pet. The drop rate 1 in 2,000. So this is the 3rd wilderness pet now. I have the Chaos Elemental and also Vedion. Let's go ahead and add that into the house. Now I have, depending on how you want to look at it, either 2 or 3 more pets to go. I still have to get Venenatus, Callisto, and KBD. KBD technically, I guess, isn't actually in the wilderness. You have to go to the wilderness to get there, so I guess it kind of depends how you want to look at it. Personally, for me, I'm still seeing it as a wilderness pet since I'm going to be death piling for it, so 3 out of the 6 wilderness pets completed now. So let's go and head into the log. I got 5 Odium shards and also 4 malediction shards along with this. So I guess next up here, there's nothing to do other than head back to continuing what I was doing before, and that is trying to complete the spindle log. I have almost 700 kills there, and I'm still looking for the fangs and the pet. So I'm going to go get my whole inventory and gear set up ready to go for this again. Okay, just kidding. I completely forgot that I need to make a bunch of darts again in order to do spindle. So that's going to take me like an hour to make a bunch of those. Another thing I need to do as well, I only have 22 LMS points left. And for using thralls and whatnot at spindle, it costs a lot of prey pots, and it's just a lot easier to have access to these blighted super restores. So I need to make all those darts and probably go and get myself maybe like, I don't know, 30 more LMS points. So I'm still quite a while away from being able to do this. Two more things I wanted to mention here. The first is I ended up being ranked 14 for Scorpia KC on Ultimate Ironman. As you see on here, there are a few people that went incredibly dry for this pet, but along with that rank, I also managed to gain 1.3 million total magic XP, so a pretty decent amount from that. Yeah, I'm going to do some more LMS here, probably not going to win because I suck, and I'll see you guys in a little bit. Okay, I got everything I need, and it's time to get back to Spindle now. I'll just show me killing it in the background here while I mention a couple other things. I completely forgot to tell you guys how many pkers that I ran into during my Scorpia grind, so I ended up dying only twice, and I also got a third death to a disconnect. That one was really annoying because I lost my untradables since it's so far in the wilderness. I also ended up escaping from pkers a total of 4 times, so over the 700 something kills I did, I ran into 6 different instances of pkers. I also ended up using a total of 34,000 blood runes and 63,000 death runes. So yeah, when it comes to Spindle, let's see if I can manage to get lucky here too. First update hasn't been too long, but there is 700 total kills. A level 104 strength as well. I set up a counter on the top right so you guys can see how much XP I've gained in that over time. Oh, here we go again with all the dragon pickaxes here. That's number 11 on 739 KC. Well, there's Void Waker gem number 3 on 783, another 46 mil. So I got myself up to 791 kills, so I got about 100 more in this video. I am going to be ending it here, though. I was going to end it after Scorpia, but I figured I'd go back and do some more Spindle. So yeah, the goal for now is just to complete this log. The pet is a 1 in 2,800 chance, so I'm still very, very far off the drop rate. I'm like 90 to 100 hours or something away from even getting close to that. Very, very happy that I was able to get this Scorpia pet here before I ended up using all of my runes. Yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying these still as usual. Hopefully in the next video I'll get another pet, and I'll see you guys then.